Hey everyone, and welcome to our premiere episode of Murder Bird Monday. I'm your host, Jessica, the Cassowary Queen. Now, I am in a cassowary enclosure in case you do see me looking over my shoulder. I am in with our female northern cassowary, Artemis. You can see I do have my shield here, something we're going to go over in a different episode. But if you see me peering over my shoulder, that's why. I got to make sure I know where she's at all times. This episode of Murder Bird Monday is sponsored by the Steel family. So we're giving a big shout out to you guys as our sponsors for the first ever episode of Murder Bird Monday. Without you guys, we would have never been able to put this series together. So big thanks going out to Steel family as our first ever Murder Bird Monday sponsors. At some point during each episode of Murder Bird Monday, we will have our Cassowary quiz, which is one opportunity for you guys to win a prize. So we've got everything from cassowary stickers made from our birds to this really cool original coin from Papua New Guinea with a cassowary on it made into keychains and necklaces. You guys are going to have a chance to win these. A couple of things I want to go over with you guys before we get started with our show. First of all, please don't forget to show your support by hitting those like and subscribe buttons. Go ahead and do that real quick right now. Now, you're going to find a link to our Amazon wish list in our description. Once you click on there, you should have access to 3 separate lists. But just in case, I'm going to post separate links to each one to make sure you guys can access all of them. There is a description on each list, but I'm going to run through those right now real quick for you guys. The first list is our Cassowary Conservancy wish list. This list is items that we can use here at the organization on a regular basis, whether that be supplies or items for animal enrichment. The second list is called Cassowary Clothing. This list is pretty self-explanatory. You will find cassowary clothing like this t-shirt, a hat. Buy it for yourself, buy it for me. Want to see me wear something on Murder Bird Monday? This is your chance. Buy an item off that list, and I will wear it on an intro for Murder Bird Monday and give you a shout out as a sponsor for that episode. The third list is called Cassowary Stuff. These are items from cassowary figurines to cassowary notebooks, and even cassowary stuffed animals. These items will be used in future giveaways or events as prizes. So if you purchase off that list, you will be announced and listed for whatever event or giveaway that prize is associated with. Now for the sponsorships, you can choose to recognize yourself, a group of people, your business, or some people choose to remain anonymous. It's completely up to you. Artemis has detoured over here to my left, so what do you say we get started? We'll go get a close-up of her and go meet the other birds. All right, come on, guys. All right, here we go with Artemis's close-up. She is a female northern or single wattle cassowary, and her mate's name is Piggy. To our knowledge, they are the only 2 of their kind on the entire continent of North America. Now, you may notice that we have a lot more pictures and videos of Artemis than Piggy. That's because she is a very curious girl and likes to come investigate when I'm doing something in or around the enclosure. Piggy is very nervous and shy, so he does keep to himself, and that makes it kind of difficult to get pictures of him. But I have this one of him taking some food. Piggy is a very sweet-natured boy. Like I said, he's very nervous, but he is very small for a northern cassowary. They are a bit bigger than the southern cassowary. Here's a picture of him and Artemis. This is when we are putting them together for breeding. So because Piggy is so nervous, we do have him and Artemis housed in a separate area from the other cassowaries so that they have a little bit more quiet. And we're working to desensitize him slowly to things like lawnmowers and other loud equipment. Now, we are hoping that Artemis and Piggy will breed this upcoming season in 2024, and we will be very happy and excited to announce the hatching of the first northern cassowary chick from them. So this is a feeding video. I'm trying to wear the GoPro so I can get some cool shots for you guys to see the things that go on here. This is Piggy having his breakfast, and it's a little difficult to see him, but at least you get to see him a little bit there. Cassowaries are frugivores, which means they eat primarily a fruit diet. And in the wild, they would supplement this diet by eating small rodents and lizards for protein sources, which means we have to do that to simulate the wild diet here in captivity and add a protein source to their food. So you can see each bird gets their own bucket of cut fruit. The protein source is already mixed in, and we do feed them approximately 3 to 5 gallons per bird daily. This is Ginger. She's a southern or double wattle cassowary. She was born in 1993 and is 30 years old this year. Now you can see in this video, she's got her wings. Those are the little spiky things flared out to the side there. That's a more aggressive stance or posturing. Ginger is a very calm-natured cassowary, though she is instinctively aggressive and protective. I did lose a little bit of footage, so I went out this evening and got some night shots. We'll be seeing some more of those here shortly. Now Ginger's about to do her boom for us here. Now that boom sounds very different in person than it does on recording. We'll get to that a little later, because it's time to meet Pugsley. Pugsley is Ginger's mate. He was born in 2010 and is 13 years old. He is a calm cassowary, very shy, tends to stay in the background, and does let Ginger have the spotlight. Though he is calm, Pugsley will defend his nest fiercely to protect his eggs, and as can be seen on this video here. So this was filmed during the 2023 breeding season and is a very good example of a normally shy and quiet bird, how fiercely they can act when protecting their nest. Now I do have the shield with me, so you can hear by the sound on the video how forcefully he kicks that shield, and that wasn't even that big of a kick for him, and now he's having to get his wits about him. He's afraid and running away. I pick up the egg, and I have to hide it now as I transport it safely out of the enclosure. And here's the egg. The cassowary eggs are green in color, so give it a look over after we get it out of the enclosure. And that's a Ginger and Pugsley egg. This is Godiva. Now, Godiva holds a special place in my heart. She is 12 years old and was born in 2011. She was stuck in her eggshell at hatching, which caused the deformities you may have noticed on her. She does have a leg and a toe that are out of whack, and also she has spinal scoliosis, so her spine is not straight like the other cassowaries. But despite her appearance, she is a healthy and happy girl. Our big worry came when Godiva was old enough to lay her first egg, and we were not sure whether or not she would pass the egg or become egg-bound. Fortunately, Godiva's disabilities have not prevented her from laying eggs. So despite her appearance, she is capable of breeding and producing healthy young, as her disabilities are not a genetic condition and cannot be passed along to any of her babies. Myron is a pretty young cassowary, hatched in 2018. He's only 5 years old. His parents are Ginger and Pugsley, making him full brother to Malachite, who we'll meet here shortly. He is currently Godiva's mate and is an extremely calm cassowary, probably the calmest one we have. This could be due in part to his still young age, but he is housed with Godiva, who is also calm-natured, and I think that makes a big difference. Now, Myron will be leaving us to join another breeding program soon. So Godiva will be getting a new mate, and we'll have to do an introduction at that time. We are looking forward to pictures and video updates of Myron as he makes his way on his new adventure and with his new mate. Lucky was born in 2013, so she is 10 years old. And if Myron is the calmest cassowary we have, Lucky is definitely the most aggressive. She will run from anywhere in her enclosure the minute she sees anyone, to come charging up, hit the fence, hiss, or otherwise display her unhappiness at your presence near her territory. This is not a girl you want to get in the pen with, and I definitely avoid it at all costs. Lucky and I used to be friends, but I don't think she has forgiven me yet for the move from her previous facility to here, and she reminds me every day that she's still angry with me. Malachite is also a fairly young cassowary, born in 2017. He is 6 years old. He is also the son of Ginger and Pugsley and a full brother to Myron. He'll be entering his third breeding season in 2024, and in fact, most of the babies we have here belong to him and Lucky. Being Lucky's mate, he's definitely picking up some of her persona. Stalking me when I walk by the enclosures, starting to show aggressive posturing through the fence, and though he's not charging or kicking the fence like she does, I'm not sure that day isn't very far off. Quite the opposite of his brother Myron, who has adopted his mate Godiva's relaxed and easygoing demeanor, Malachite seems to become more and more like Lucky every day. Liberace is another northern or single wattle cassowary. Born in 1993, he is 30 years old, and you may notice he does look a little different than the northern cassowaries we saw earlier in this episode. Liberace is a red or blue variety, and to our knowledge, he is the only red or blue northern cassowary on the North American continent. Liberace is an outgoing boy, and while not as aggressive as Lucky, he will definitely show his displeasure if you intrude on his territory. His song, as best we know, is a territorial display, so even though it sounds like he is singing, it's really a warning to stay back. You've come too close. We currently have 5 yearlings or juvenile cassowaries on site. These were born in the 2022 breeding season. They will remain here until appropriate placement can be found for them, which is why we are hoping someone will sponsor their move into an adult enclosure. Since they are juveniles, they do not yet need to be separated from each other. However, as we were not planning on still having these guys here from the 2022 breeding season, they do need to be moved into a larger space. We will move them all together into a 50-foot by 50-foot adult cassowary enclosure. That size is the next step up from the 20-foot by 10-foot grow-out enclosure that they are currently inhabiting. Once the grow-out enclosure is revamped and remodeled, the cassowary chicks can be moved from the nursery enclosure into the grow-out enclosure. We currently have 7 chicks that hatched during the breeding season of 2023 this year. Once the juveniles are moved into the adult enclosure, the juvenile pen will need to be disassembled, the ground dug up, rock laid down, and the dirt put back on top so there is appropriate drainage in the grow-out enclosure. Once this is completed, the enclosure will need to be reassembled, a new house built inside for the chicks with a heat lamp, and the entire structure secured from predators. Once this is completed, these chicks can then be moved from this nursery enclosure into the grow-out enclosure. We are looking for sponsors to help with the revamp of the grow-out enclosure, as well as the move of the juveniles into the adult enclosure. And now it's time for our viewer question cassowary Q&A. This week's question comes from Judah in Colorado, and he asks, are cassowaries okay in cold climates? Though cassowaries are more cold tolerable than you'd probably imagine, being from such a tropical location, they should not be kept in areas where temperatures fall below 20 degrees Fahrenheit sustainably without a heated indoor area to shelter them. Without this, frostbite to the wattles, casque, and toes can occur, causing damage and sometimes even the loss of these appendages. Wow, that was a great question to get us started. Thanks for your submission, Judah. If you'd like your question read on our cassowary Q&A, please submit your question to mbm@cassowaryconservancy.org. All right, it's time for our Cassowary quiz. Here's how this works. I'm going to ask a question, but I'm not going to tell you the answer. You are going to email me what you think is the answer, and the first 10 emails we get with the correct answer will be sent some of our Cassowary swag. Now, this could be anything from stickers to one of our Cassowary coins from Papua New Guinea, a Cassowary coin keychain or necklace, as well as many other things. Now, kids, if you're not 18, please make sure you have your parents' permission to send us your name and address prior to sending that email. All right, today's quiz question: what family of birds do cassowary belong to? Watch for our next episode when we announce our winners and the answer. Guys, don't forget to check our Patreon page for access to merch and early access to Murder Bird Monday episodes, as well as special access to our Discord server, all available on our Patreon as a Patreon supporter of our organization. Also, if you'd like to join us on Discord, our server name is Cassowary Conservancy, and I will each week post a new link to join the server. We are going to be having live chats with the Cassowary Queen, date and time to be determined. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us on our premiere episode of Murder Bird Monday. Again, our sponsors for this episode were the Steele family. We thank you so much for making this a possibility for us. We've got so much more in store for you guys. Remember to check out all the links for you guys in the description. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next week, covering all your favorite cassowary topics, from the mundane to the insane, only here on Murder Bird Monday.